Good morning, afternoon, and evening. Good night, wherever you are in the world, guys. What's going on? My name is Edward, aka Deadly Crypto. We got a really good, I was hoping we were going to have a better presentation than what we got today, but we do have something special for you guys. So I'd like to welcome everyone here. It looks like Carmine dropped by, Young Prince D dropped by, said hello, hello. Good morning, Carmine. Welcome, everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and get straight into it. Now, oftentimes I get asked the question, how do I find the coin that's going to pump next? How do I get involved in the next coin that's going to do a 10x or, 100x, 1000x? Everyone's seen those YouTube clickbait titles where they're like, oh, next hidden altcoin gem. Now, we're not going to talk about the problems that exist around those types of promotions or pump and dump schemes. I will say that it is hard to predict when a coin is going to pump. You might be able to use your technical analysis to infer of a wedge outbreak or something like that, but it's really hard to foresee which altcoins are going to do really good, especially with all the new niches that are coming out. You have the gaming niche, you have all these different movements. Recently, the last one after NFTs was play to earn, and then it was move to earn. So there's a lot of these things, and they come sort of as trends. And so when you see those trends, you start guessing on one because you think one of these altcoins is going to blow up. And a lot of times these altcoins do see 2, 5, 10x's. But whenever it comes to choosing one that does that, it gets really difficult to foresee something like that. Looks like we got a couple more guys in here. What's up, dude? Boy Tamila says, greetings, greetings. Gray Sun says, Deadly Crypto, you the man. What's up, Gray Sun? And Nostra says, hi, Deadly. What's up, guys? How y'all doing, man? Hope y'all are doing just fine. Cool beans, cool beans. All right, so I think this is live. Looks like it says it's live anyway, so we're going to go ahead and continue with that. Microphone's on, it seems. Last couple of streams I was doing, I didn't actually have my microphone on in the beginning for some time before I realized. So, glad that looks like the microphone's on in this one because no one is screaming audio and mic at me. So guys, when it comes to shorting a pump, which is what we're going to be talking about today, you don't have to predict when the coin is going to pump. Because the biggest challenge in finding a coin that's going to pump is when it will pump. And the second biggest challenge after you find a coin that is pumping is when to exit, when to take profits. Really easily, if you want to get in on that note, anytime you make about a 2x on your investment, it's probably a good idea to pull out the amount that you invested and let the rest ride to see how high you can get it. But if you missed out on the next big altcoin, your favorite YouTuber you didn't have your notifications on for BitBoy or whatever, you can actually pay attention to those types of movements and short them. So more often than not, and you're actually, with the way the current market conditions are, we're not seeing too many coin pumps. I was hoping that I actually have not even looked at the gainers or losers list because I'm going to take you through the process step by step, how I look for a gainer or how I look for something that is pumped and try to plot a short trade around it. Sometimes you look at these altcoins and you see, okay, this has been running up for several days, so the dump is going to be quite large, maybe a few percentage that we're looking at. Some of them have only happened within a daily time frame. So if you're looking at an altcoin that's pumped up 15% in one day in 24 hours, it may not have that violent pullback that you're expecting, but there's still going to be an opportunity to short it. So we're looking for those types of coins whenever something has exploded recently due to some type of trend that is not related to price action. Because sometimes, especially in altcoins, it's harder for that to occur in Bitcoin, while it still does though. It happens a lot more often in altcoins where hype or a trend will deter from price action and send it into this moon-like skyrocketing phase. And that's what we're going to be looking to short. So we want to observe, there are a couple things that you need to know before you start doing this. We're not just talking about some type of cheat sheet where you open up your CoinGecko and you can just break the system and start making money very quickly. Now, if you're not very familiar with trading, if you don't know how to identify market structure, that's going to be very essential. If you don't know how to identify support and resistance, that's going to be very essential. And you're going to need to understand how to use indicators to confirm or deny your ideas. You're also going to need to understand risk management, because there is a lot of risk whenever you're counter trend trading, trying to call the top. So there is the first way where you can try to short a coin pump where it has pumped too high, and you're trying to wait for that retrace and wait to actually see a lower high, and then you get in on an aggressive approach with a large stop loss. There's also another way where you can be a little bit safer and you wait for it to break some of the market structure, and in that case you're actually putting yourself at a potential for a higher loss if you extend your stop loss to the swing high. And we'll talk about a couple of these scenarios in just a few moments here. So let me see if we got any other comments from the guys. No, looks like everyone's here. Watermelon says all good. All right, fellas. So cool beans. Let's just go ahead and take a look at it. So this is normally the process that I'll go through. And first and foremost, what you need to understand is when I'm looking for trades, I primarily go to Bitcoin. I want to see what Bitcoin's doing. Sometimes it's going to have a lot of volatility, like right over here we were seeing. Let me put myself in the corner now. I'll put myself in the corner now, guys. Okay, so I got my trading view up right here. And what we're seeing here, even in Bitcoin, there's just a lot of volatility. The spread on this for the past few days is over 15%. So that's crazy. I mean, there's plenty of work to be done in Bitcoin. Now, whenever you are a full-time trader, you don't really want to start looking at a bunch of random scenarios and exposing yourself to altcoins you're not familiar with. I'm always going to say and always lean with the variant that it is better for you to have a set list of coins that you're interested in trading and going through those coins like a ritual in a very periodic manner, going through them, having a watch list, having alerts, all that good stuff that you're going to want to do to maintain a regular watch list and trade that watch list. This is something that you can do to take advantage of shorting something whenever you have a little bit more, I would say, skill level and understanding of risk assessment. So first thing we're going to want to do is, I'm not going to be looking at TradingView. I need to get CoinGecko open. So I'm going to bring a new tab here, and we're just going to go to CoinGecko. So the first thing we need to do is go to CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap if that's what you want. I don't prefer CoinMarketCap. I just prefer CoinGecko. So we're just going to go ahead and look at the 24-hour gainers and losers. Now right here, we can just go to this page if you want to as well. You can see all this crazy shit. Some of it's going to be like decentralized exchanges, which means you're going to have to go through PancakeSwap or something like that. I'm going to keep this real short and simple. Just going to be talking about Bybit. I'm trading perpetuals on Bybit, and we're using 3 commas to execute these trades. So I'm just going to go back over here to, I'm going to go back to where I was, and I'm just going to click right here, and I'm just going to go and look through these, realistic altcoins that are listed on most of the exchanges. I'm not going to try and get into any of this crazy next hidden altcoin gym shit. We're just looking to see what's pumped. We can see there's not really that much going on here today. If you're seeing something right here, and whenever you come up into your market and it looks a little bit different on your screen, it's because it's going to be a different day than right now. I've opened this before and seen nothing but stable coins in the green, and that's pretty funny. But yeah, here we can see that the biggest pumper would look like, outside of all that trash crap, decentralized exchanges and unpopulated illiquid pairs, we're looking at Helium. It's got an 8% gain for the day. So I'm just going to see real quick if that's on Bybit. I'm pretty sure it is. So yeah, it's on Bybit. So we're just going to go ahead and take a look at Helium. We're going to take note of BCH. It's pumped quite a bit. Now, again, whenever you're looking at these guys, and if you're looking at over even 7 days, if you're looking here at something, and right now we're not in that season where shit's pumping all the time. But if you're here looking at 7-day chart and you see something's up 48%, 30%, 25%, you're going to want to take note of that asset and you're going to go chart it. You're going to go look at its market structure. If it's something you've never seen before, then you might want to look at its white page, see how involved you're going to get with it. But if it's on an exchange, more than likely you're going to have the opportunity to trade it, especially if it's on something that you trust. Like I trust my exchange like Bybit. So if they list something on there, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm not too concerned. So here we're going to look at Helium, BCH, looks like BAT, FTM. These things really have not pumped. So this is Really shitty time to be doing this. I'm sorry, guys. I couldn't hold this stream off for a year though. So we'll do it again with some more live examples. But basically, right here, I'm just gonna write these down really quick so we can go chart their market structure, and we're gonna try and find opportunities in them. So I got HNT, BCH, BAT, and FTM. So we need to go to our trading view. We need to go look at these. I'm pretty sure all of these are on Bybit. So let me go ahead and pull up here now. What do we have? HNT was our biggest gainer. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. I'm going to try and find it on the Bybit chart. All right, so we see a nice uptrend. Immediately, I can see a series of higher highs and higher lows. That almost looks like a parallel channel. We can probably long this to the top, and whenever it breaks out of that channel, we'll find our short. So that is what we're going to be looking for because we are shorting the pumps. We're not looking for longs today. So we're looking at this market structure on the 1H time frame is where I accidentally pulled up to it on the 1H. Let's go ahead and take a look at the daily. Even though we were looking at past 24 hours, we need to understand what the daily market structure looks like. So let's go ahead and give ourselves some uptrend lines and downtrend lines. And this is basic dynamic support and resistance, guys. I've talked about this in plenty of different streams, plenty of different lessons on my YouTube channel. So if you want to learn more about how to chart market structure, go check that out. I'm going to continue the series as well with new information, new patterns, new everything. So keep up with the content, and today I'm not going to be too instructional on how to chart the market structure. I'm just going to do it. So it looks like here we have, it seems like a bear flag structure. Normally what we can expect whenever we're seeing something like this is for price to either, in this scenario with the outbreak, is going to be bearish. Whenever we have this bear flag here, I could pull up a chart pattern real quick. I know I have this one handy this time. Okay, so let me just get this over here. All right, so whenever we're looking at the bearish pennant, right, we can see here that it forms into this formation. It's not exactly the flag on the daily time frame, although we can see that on the 1H time frame. We'll get right back into that. So we're looking right here at the pennant. So this is the formation that we're seeing here. Now I'll put it back in right here so we can see that this is what we are looking at. So it's very likely when price comes from the upside and forms a formation like this that we are looking and expecting for price to break to the downside. Now it is always possible that price can break above here, and it's always possible that price can break to the downside. So we have two ways to watch for this outbreak. Normally when we see a bearish pennant, we're looking for a downside break. So right now, actually be a really good time to enter a short. We're going to come back over here, but we're looking for short opportunities, right? And we found this based off the pumpers list. Simply just going to see what was pumping, what might give us an opportunity. And we can see here that we're looking at a short opportunity based upon staying inside this wedge. We would expect price to do something of this nature, to stay in here, and then maybe come down, break to the downside. Maybe it breaks out immediately right here. Or who knows, maybe it breaks out at this point and we get stopped out. So let's see about how we can set up this trade now, because we already have in our mind that we want to go short. So if it goes up, we're going to talk about how to set up a stop loss. If it goes down, we're going to talk about how to set up our take profit. So right here, we're presented with very, very, very nice market structure. Let me get this out of my way real quick. That's in my way. Okay, so right here we're presented with very nice market structure. We have something to play with. Every time that I was hoping that we would get something good out of these coins because I was going to check them until we saw something nice. I never really know what to expect. But here, I can see we have some pretty nice structure. So I'm going to break into a smaller time frame now because that's where we need to find our trading opportunity. And in the 4H time frame, I can see where we're connecting those points there. I can tighten it up or tidy it up just a little bit. You definitely want these points to be as precise as possible, because those are going to give you your most accurate values, and that's where people are going to be trading from with heavy leverage sets. So whenever we're looking at approaching this here, first thing I want to do is turn on RSI and see if I have divergence. If this is creating an upwards movement like here, coming up, boom, boom, and then we have this type of deal showing here, that's divergence. That is automatically stop what you're doing and short the fucking coin territory. If you're looking at something that is pumped and you see divergence on the time frame, if it's on the daily time frame, you're going to have to observe a larger window. So I didn't really check right there, but there is no divergence. And if we're jumping into these trading time frames, I'm looking at 4H. If there's divergence on the 4H time frame, that is a signal to that the trend is about to change, and you can go ahead and get in on that position. Now right here, it could be a little bit scary because we actually don't have divergence. So we want to make sure that we're not getting into a position where we're going to try and short something that's about to fucking pump. So we're looking right here at this previous market structure, and we can see that this was an existing uptrend here inside. Guys, and if you have questions too at any time while I'm talking, just leave them in the comments, and I'll check up with your questions in just a little bit after I'm done with my short presentation here. So here we have this market structure that was broken, and then inside of that wedge, you know, we had some more market structure. So this is pumped out. Now it seems like we have this little uptrend channel. So I'm going to get that out of the way so it doesn't mess with our vision too much. And we're going to tighten this up on the 1H, but we're just going to go ahead and sit here. I'm going to try and clone that to see if it is parallel. And it's pretty damn close. So it's pretty close to an uptrend channel. We can also call this a rising wedge. And I'll get down into a smaller time frame to see how I can clean this up a bit. So now we're looking at our short opportunity right here. So we're looking, you know, something similar of this pattern right here whenever this gets broken, if it continues upward. If that is the case, let me just bring that back down because I had already cloned it there. If this is the case where it continues upward, here's going to be our upwards target. And then we come to the outbreak of this bear pennant. And we're going to be looking for a retest. Maybe it shoots up or maybe it comes back in. And we raise this up based on a new high, right? Price comes up here, does something like that, does that retest. Let me move that back for a second to explain this a bit better. Price comes up, does a fake out, retests here, comes in, comes back inside. In which case, we'll raise this up and we're still playing inside of a bear pennant. So that's how you have to be careful for fake outs. But anyway, so this is what we're looking for now. We're looking for this down break on this because likely it's going to travel to the downside. And if it breaks up, we have a very nice interest or a very nice price conflict right here. So we actually have a pretty optimal entry for our short. We're going to break into the 1 hour time frame just a little bit more and clean this up the best we can. So I'm going to slide that down to that value. We'll see here if I had connected from this value because this is the projection that we're using. Let me get a drink of water, guys. No comments. Awesome. No comments. Okay. I'm going to get a drink of water real quick. Mouth is running dry. All right. So here we are. You can see price is hitting up. It looks like a little resistance right here. It's not perfect. You know, price could shoot up. I've seen plenty of times where price trends in an overbought territory and continues some fucking chaotic rise. And we can see right here that it's very possible just based upon these values. Now, that's not going to be perfect. This was an attempt to clone this line because I always want to see if it's a perfect parallel channel. And it looks like there's no way I can really clean this up and make it look like that. I'll be trying to force a couple things here. So yeah, I'm not really too sure about that one. I'll leave it up for just a second till I figure out this other line, and then I'm just going to try and plot that one from here to there. We'll change that so we can stop getting them confused. All right, so here's our structures now. So it looks like that's an uptrend coming out of a downtrend inside of a wedge. So we've identified a couple of our structures. And one more thing, while we're here, I'm just going to go ahead and try to put a fib on this really quickly, since we're looking to see if this, you know, if it's going to actually go higher or not. So I'm going to pull this from this previous swing high right over here because this is the swing high we're going to be using, and I'm going to pull it down to the low. So normally people will say that the 0.618 is the golden point on the fib where we need to look for pullbacks to see if this is going to continue upwards or not. As if this is not, if this is not a real, if this is just a pullback here to the downside, then we can expect upside to these levels, etc. That's basically saying how the Fibonacci works. But while we're still playing inside of it, this is going to be from high to low value, and we're going to be looking for this. Once we've established a high to a low, we're going to be watching for this on the upside, and we're going to know that price could come back to the swing high. So in this particular instance, because of this market structure, now normally see, or in some other scenario, I can't say normally because there's a bunch of scenarios you might experience. If this was just a little bit further over here and all this was happening inside here, I would feel a little bit more comfortable trying to wager to that. I would like to say that should be our stop loss, you know, just over the recent swing high, because price could defeat this and create a new high right here, and that would be the testament of our stop losses. Now price might even swing over right here to this point, and then everyone has their stop losses set right there, so there's that big pump right beyond it, and then it goes right back inside. That literally happened to me yesterday on the 1 minute time frame on BTC, and I was trying to use a similar strategy. So it happens. It does happen. But right here we have this structure butted up against this right here. So I'm going to be looking to use this as my stop loss. If price goes over, there might be some dilly-dallying and it might even break back in. But in this scenario, this is how I'm going to be looking to take my short on this coin, justify what is being presented to me. So let me just go ahead and hide this now. Like I said, normally I would like to try and use my swing high and go over that swing high. We'll try and play this one. I feel like that honestly might get broken because there is no divergence here, at least no bearish divergence. This could technically be bullish divergence. So I feel like if we put a stop loss right here, it could be broken, but having a stop loss above that swing high would be just a little bit too hefty for me. So I will naturally want to look for this outbreak here and that swing high. So we're going to look to try and put a short like this. And we'll come over just right there. Maybe we want to try and chase our entry to where we can try and find a better entry right here. But if it breaks down through this line, then we just need to go ahead and try and get in on that short to the downside, because we have target here, here, all the way through here to get in on this back towards the bottom of the wedge, which is a very, very likely situation. Even if we project this final value from here and here, it's likely that we could see some price action all within this wedge, and all the way down to the downside of this wedge is going to be a nice 37% without leverage. So now we have all of this on our radar. What we're going to need to do here is we're not going to want to jump the gun on the entry just yet. Like I said, if price falls below this line, we're going to want to jump in, because we don't want to get, let me put that back. We don't want to get exterminated as soon as if we place this trade right now and then price swings above that high. So we'll like to see how all of this gets treated. What we need to do now is set alerts for this point. So I've got an alert here. We're going to use crossing the trend line. We can use, I'll use once per bar. If you use once per bar, there's a different way I like to set up indicators or alerts. If I'm using something for automated trading, I want the confirmation after a bar close. But if it's for something like this on a breakout where it could be very important to my trade, I'm gonna use once per bar. So since we're on the 1 hour time frame, it's pushing up. As soon as it touches that trend line, I'm gonna get an alert. Every single time it touches that, I'm gonna get an alert. So I'm not gonna use the webhook here. I'm just gonna go ahead and use notify on app, show pop-up, and play that sound there. So then we're going to say this is, I think this was breaking this one. So this is breaking resistance. T breaking resistance, baracking. Okay. Now I have here, I'm also going to set an alert for these two, because these are immediate resistance and support that I'm playing right here. So remember, if price breaks this one, I'm just going to try and shoot that short. As soon as I get into profits, I can move that into, I can move my stop loss into a profitable area. But that's essentially what we're going to want to try and do, is find the swing high, find an entry right before the swing high, place our stop loss above the swing high, and then we can either be aggressive and enter at market price, or we're going to set up these alerts right here so that way we can be notified whenever this is occurring. All right, and that's going to be give me an alert for that one. So if that one gets broken, I'll try and short it all the way down, and if this one gets broken up here to the top, if I'm involved in a short, then I'll get that alert. And if I'm not involved in a short yet, I can wait to see if it's going to break to the upside, break that market structure, and maybe continue along this uptrend. So if that's the case, I'm not going to try and get in on that. I'm going to try and wait, find the new high, and short that. Okay, so just because it's breaking out here doesn't mean I have to be fully convinced. I'm still going to keep an eye on this because it was a big gainer. So remember, when we looked at that list, well, we found 4. So I'm going to take a look at the next one, which was BCH. I don't expect too much out of it, honestly, because I know it's way far down from even all-time high. Now, I like to do this with some of those new coins that just get listed. A couple examples are like GMT was a recent one that had a huge sell-off after a lot of noise on the internet. It got really popular, and it had a huge blow-off. And that was like recent from an all-time high. But it still works. The process works. The methodology works. On any token, if it's recently pumped, you have to understand, see, when you're trading with the trend is what I'll say a lot, almost all the time, 100% of the time, trade with the trend because it's your friend. Now, whenever you're taking a counter trend trade, there is more risk involved, because obviously we can run into a stop loss very quickly here. But with more risk, there is greater reward, right? If we are betting with the trend here, And we're playing this, you know, normally. I have a video out right now how to trade a downtrend channel. Same thing as how to trade an uptrend channel. I guess I should make a video how to trade an uptrend channel anyway, just to clear it up. But we're looking for longs at the bottom of the channel and shorts at the top of the channel. So whenever we do see something like this here, the best place for us to put our short would be the top of this channel or the top of this type of structure right here, because this little bit of structure could play into a larger down break, right? Because this is actually active structure too. So if we're trading this uptrend channel here, we're looking to take longs at the bottom up to the top and shorts from the top to the bottom, except for when it breaks out of the channel. Then we're going to use that intermediary range as our stop loss, which is why it's going to be right there a little tight, and then we're going to try and short it down. So if we're just looking at this here, trading to the upside, in this channel we have 24%, and inside the channel here we have 16% to the downside. So it's about a 20% channel, and that's fantastic. 20% spread is great if we're going to be taking profits on that. But we could go all the way back down to the swing low here and get 35%, like I said, before leverage, even before leverage. So imagine if you had 5-10x on that, would be a really good payday for you. And more often than not, that's how those end up getting, that's how you can ride a short into a really crazy profitable position without having the foresight of and struggle and study of sifting through 100,000 coins and reading all the white pages and say, what's going to pump? What's going to pump? I don't know what's going to pump. Let me just overexpose myself in 100,000 coins. No, just look for what has pumped and then formulate a plan for how to catch its downfall, because, you know, the trend's only valid until it's not. If it's not an uptrend, it's a downtrend. If it's not either of those, it's a consolidation. So this uptrend, while it may be an established uptrend, cannot continue forever. This cannot continue forever. So you need to be aware of that and wait for it to get ready to reverse, try to find its reversal, and go for it. You need to find it at that point and try to take that short. And again, if you get stopped out, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. Keep your eye close on the asset. That fallout is coming. It's happened to me plenty of times where I get stopped out and I'm like, oh, I just quit watching it. And then boom, the short plays out right in front of me. It happened to me one last time with waves, and I was like, okay, no more. You know, I know the short's coming, so I just need to pay attention. You might even get divergence after divergence. I've seen triple top dynamic divergence. It's crazy, where the divergence is there and it still plays out and creates another high even after the divergence. But the short is coming. So let's go ahead. If you guys have any questions, I'm going to take a drink, take a look at the comments, and then we're going to go ahead and try and set up. We're going to recreate this process on BCH. Hey, Niaz, what's up, bro? Hey, I see you got your 1 month tag. My brother, he's all green now, man. What's up, Niaz? I like it. Looks good on you. And we got Anthony, says, one of the best crypto trading YouTube channels. What's up, Anthony? Thanks, brother. That means a lot. Where'd you come from, if you don't mind me asking you? I'd like to know. All right, fellas. Whew. A little bit parched here. Here we can see we're already about coming to entry. So we're going to want to pay close attention to that, and I'll leave that open in the background while we explore our new altcoin. Caesar says, greetings. What's up, Caesar? What's up, my brother? All right, fellas. So if you weren't here for the beginning of the stream, we looked at the, I'll just go ahead and pull it back up. We looked at the top gainers, and it's actually kind of pitiful for today. I mean, sometimes you look at these, and again, this is without looking at any of these other fucking crazy things over here. Like, we can come over and see, you know, some Soul Dodge. Jeez Louise, Soul Dodge. Toxic Deer, Mad Meerkat. You know, this is a bunch of bullshit. Alpha Coin. That's going to be a nice short. I don't know where that's at, though. But anyway, yeah. We're not looking at all this crazy crap here. I'm just going to go to, you know, basic coins right here again. This is what we were looking at. You can look at 7 days to try and find a bigger short play, but we're talking about a little bit about day trading, and this process is applicable to 1 minute time frame, 5, 15, 1H, 1 day, 1 week. It's applicable to every single time frame that exists. So whenever you find something here, you can look for something that's pumped for the last 30 days, over the last year, and set up your trading plan based upon that. So here we're looking for something that's pumped, and we're trying to find an opportunity to short it. Right, and here we really don't see that much. Oh, it looks like ApeCoin's about to do a nice pump, because that wasn't in the list a while ago. We had HNT, BCH, BAT, and FTM. So Maker and ApeCoin are already on the rise. So we'll take a look at those. But BCH is still in place number 2. We'll take a quick glance at ApeCoin to see if that thing's about to pump off the hell. Because if it's gonna pump, we might just want to get some of that, don't we? All right, so let's take a look at BCH and Ape. Oops, gotta choose my layout first. Bybit and Ape. Ah, why do they keep doing that to me? Just load the layout. It's the only one that I have. What? There it is. Alright, so it looks like Ape's about to do a little pumpy pump right here. That's we cannot buy right here. That's way too far away from the swing high, so I'm already seeing that. That's got a long way to go to the swing high. We cannot just try and short that shit right there. It could play out for us, you know. We got this this little thing going on. That could actually play out, but that's just way too much upside risk. So let's stick to the plan here. We got BCH. Oh, that looks great. That looks great. All right, now there's no divergence here. That would be super solid if this was divergence, if this was lower. Because we actually do have some divergence on the downside. Not right there, but right there. That's got divergence. So we're seeing this right here. We're going to measure that out because that whole thing is divergence. So since we're observing this, let's just go ahead and take a look at this, guys. I've talked about this in other videos as well. But I'm going to go ahead and draw it out for us now so we can see really quickly. Here we have some divergence because the candlesticks are forming lower lows while the RSI is forming higher lows. So that's divergence. We're going to go ahead and measure this from here to here because that is where the largest span of divergence is 21 hours. So we have 21 hours this way. You can go ahead and set a line right there. It's 18, 2 o'clock. 18, 2 o'clock. Alright, so this is about where our divergence is going to expire. So we could play into an upwards position or an upwards price range for this duration because that is the duration that this divergence has occurred. So that is the duration we could look for a bullish movement. It could expire before then, it could expire after then. But with that bullish divergence right there, we're probably not going to want to take a position on this coin anytime soon. Yeah, no, we're not really gonna want to try and short this. That pump that pump alert is because we're in a pretty bad bear market right now. But you know, we will chart it up just to see. So that just goes to show, just because it's on the the biggest or the 24-hour gainer list doesn't mean you're just gonna have that easy money waiting for you. You gotta pay attention. You gotta chart the market structure. Have to understand market structure. You have to understand market structure. It's really risky to trade an asset that you don't know much about, especially if it's not on your watch list or something that you constantly pay attention to. But if you have the basics of trading and technical analysis down, then you should be able to make your way and at least come out with something on here. Now that looks like pretty enticing right here on the 4H. Now I was just on the 1H actually, and I didn't see that. Right, so that's why it's also good to have a top-down approach. I'm a little broken on my approach right here. Fuck, because that's going to be a large bullish divergence too. It's real interesting here. If we pull this back, we got a larger bullish divergence, so that could mean that BCH is looking for actually a nice uptrend reversal soon. So this pump could actually be the start to something really nice here. It might not continue to the downside for much longer. We might see some upwards range even to here possibly, or maybe even to this level. So if we're looking back here, the levels are constantly rising, going up here while they're going down here. So that's not good for us. And then when we get into the 4H time frame, yeah, that's just, I mean, that's clear. That's really clear. Really clear. We have a strong bullish divergence here. So gonna avoid the short on that. So that's something that we can see. There was no bearish divergence. Fuck, man, it's right. It's right here. If this high doesn't come up and create a higher high there, that would be a signal for entry. So we need to wait and see where this is going to play out to, because this could pump up just quite a bit. And as long as it doesn't surpass that high, then we can look for a short signal back towards this floor. So that would create us, we could range somewhere to here. Once this comes up like this, if we get a green bar, let me just say fucking. Oh, damn, I tried to draw that straight. Let's just pretend that's a straight green bar right there. So boom, it comes up like that, and it does not create a higher high. Then we have that bearish divergence on the 4H. So that would be a critical sign to end this bullish divergence and enter our short, which we could play over that swing high. So when that comes to fruition, whenever we see this pump up, if the value of this candlestick or the following candlesticks does not exceed this high, then we're going to want to place our entry right there and use that swing high as our stop loss. So we can try and pump up right there. Our stop loss could be somewhere around 131.95 if this divergence stays alive. And that would be just based on the divergence there, because normally if it breaks over this downtrend, I'd say let's wait for that and clear into this range right here on the upside. But if this candlestick or if the next few candlesticks do not exceed this high, then that's going to present us a bearish divergence opportunity, and we're going to want to try and short that. So we can keep BCH on our watch list now. It's going to be a little bit harder to set alert for a divergence that hasn't finished yet. So we're just going to need to watch this. And since this is the 4H time frame, we got 1 hour and 22 minutes left on this. So if I'm interested in taking a position in this realistically, what I need to do is pay attention for the next 1 hour and 22 minutes. I can set a timer to see how this candle closes, and then I'll watch the next candlestick. If the next candlestick closes below here, so we say that this one closes right here, and then we have a candlestick open and pushes below, then that is indicative that we're going to be, when we're creating a series of lower lows, moving to the downside. So the next candlestick is pretty important to find us an optimal entry, because we don't want to stray too far away from that as our stop loss starts to get heavier. See, it's 4% here. The further away we get, the less it makes sense to put our entry there. So we want to try and get this up as high as it pumps, but not miss the retrace on that pump. So if that makes any sense. And that's just because of the market structure on here. We weren't blessed with a better market structure like we had saw in HNT. So the last one, we had two more actually that were on the list. We'll take the last one that we're going to look at is BAT. I'm going to take another drink of water, see what you guys got going on in the comments, if y'all got anything for me. What's up, fellas? Nishant Sharma. What is that? A YouTube play button? That's cool, brother. How'd you do that? Not really sure how you did that. Hey, Nalster. What's up, brother? Learning a lot from this. Thanks, man. Glad you can make it out, bro. Glad you can make it out. So we're gonna take a look at HNT. Man, that's pretty good entry. It pumped over the desired entry that we would have liked to achieve. And that's not exactly divergence, but it looks like we'll be playing that break. So we're very interested in this price action right here going on. So that's going to give us an opportunity. Remember, I did not even look at that list today all day. I purposely avoided looking at the top gainers and losers list, so that way when I came onto this stream, it would be genuine. I did not fucking do any pre-TA on any of these coins. That's really nice. That's a really nice opportunity that we found just from looking at the pumpers list. BCH, not so much. We had to do a little bit of thinking. The TA is not perfectly there. We do have a range. We could obviously see a range here, and even a downside range. If this is rejected right here, we could even play inside that. We can go into a smaller time frame, scalp, day trade, all that good stuff. So this is just looking at the pumpers list, finding opportunities. So this one's not as great. HNT is okay. Ape, really, I would say that's not there for shorting. I wouldn't try and short that. That popped up after the fact. But now I'm just going to look at BAT. That was the third one we had on there. And I'm just going to go ahead and refresh this in front of our faces so we can see if anything else is moving. Yeah, so there it is again, BAT. So we'll go ahead and take a look at BAT. And I'll leave Ape open. I might want to do something with Ape after this. I don't want to forget about it. It looks pretty nice. So BAT, USDT, and Bybit. All right, so this one looks like, this actually looks like it's pushing a really nice uptrend. We had a consolidation outbreak from a downtrend, creating a higher low after a downtrend. So this is a higher high and a higher low. So these are both indications of an uptrend. this is a bullish flag. So let me just pull up. Where's that little picture? Where's that chart at? This is a bullish flag right here. This could be, this right now is a bullish pennant, and it could turn into a bullish flag. So what we need to be careful of here, I mean, I can already see some of this forming out. So if you couldn't see that with your eyes, I'll just help you out here a little bit. There's the flag, but I'll go ahead and put this up here because this is the 4H. So on the 15-minute, we'll see that it's not a perfect pennant, but we do have our formations here. So this is what we're looking at. We could be forming up into a bull flag. If this breaks down, it's back down to the bottom of the downtrend channel. And if this breaks up, then, you know, we're going up with the uptrend's continuing. So that's what we need to be cautious of here. This is a pretty good opportunity too. I mean, it can go either way. We got a breakout right ahead of us. This breakout's pushed too. It's really pressed. It's about to happen. Like, see, there's no, like, oh man. And come on, put the chart back up on there. What did I do? There we go. Come on, man. Sorry, guys. I've totally farted. Alright. Just gonna pull it up again. Excuse me for that, guys. Not really sure what I clicked. I clicked something in a frenzy. And we're gonna have to redraw those trend lines, but it's no big deal. So we're looking at, here we can see uptrend, and I'll try and draw them a little bit cleaner now so we can see this is kind of coming into a wedge here. Looks like a rising wedge. And here is our, we'll see how we can clean these points up on the 1H. Yeah, so we're looking at continuing this up here. Now I'll get into the 1H. So remember how in this area in HNT we have this structure. This is an obvious structure. We have this super duper large structure here, but there's room for, you know, intrastructure inside of it. Remember, this was a little uptrend. There's a wedge here. There's a wedge here. Like I can show you. We'll zoom in real quick, you know, and then we have the bull flag. Remember, here's our little bull flag. So we have these little intrastructures right here. Boom. So a little bull flag. All these little structures, right, inside of a larger structure. So there's a lot of room right here in this one. Here we can see that this is not the case for BAT. This thing's wedged pretty tight up against its wedges. This is what I was trying to say before I fudged and did something. I don't know. I must have merged the charts and I don't know what the hell I did, but I clicked something right here that I wasn't supposed to. So here we can see that price is pretty tight along that upper resistance line formed by these 2 points, and it's only projection, so we could use it as resistance here. That would be the best entry for a short if it did not break over. If it did not break over, so that's how I would want to be. So now if I pull up this chart again now, since we've actually identified that rising wedge, we can look at the rising wedge too, and we'll see that whenever we have this forming here, I went to the previous picture. So whenever we have this forming here, we can see no matter where it comes from, upside or downside, that whenever we have the rising wedge, we're going to look for that to break to the downside. So it could bounce more than 2 times. Just because we see 2 tops in here doesn't mean that's all it's going to be. It could come up again to the top side here, and then we break out finally on the downside. So that's what we're going to be looking for, because on the short side, this is an uptrend, and there's no signs of bearish divergence present. So we're going to want to be careful if we're taking this short here. I'd want to say let's wait for this rising wedge to be broken, because while I did see this one first, and it is active and valid, we're also playing inside that rising wedge. So I want to see that. I want to see something there break first. So if we break over here, we can go to the upside, in which case I don't want to be involved in a short position, because then I'd have to put a stop loss here. I'd have to put a stop loss over this, which is 15%. So naturally, if I want to short this, just because that's a 15% stop loss, I mean, even if I go down here, that could be 1-to-1. But that's huge. I'm not really going to go for that. In some extreme scenarios, I can push for 10% if I'm looking at a swing trade, or I have some type of swing vision in mind. I can deal with a 10% stop loss on some instances. not whenever I pulled up a pumpers chart. I'd like to wait to see this. If it does break above here, I mean, more than likely, fuck, it's probably going to come up here to the swing high and then maybe create and play something up in here. So I would say the best short around this opportunity would try to be wait for that rising wedge to play out, because it looks like this has plenty of potential to continue an upward descent. It's running into a little bit of resistance here, and if that resistance is true and valid, it breaks out of the rising wedge now. Here's the downtrend range based on these values right here. So I can even clean those up a little bit, and that would make it a falling wedge. That probably even almost look like a perfect parallel channel. Not perfect. It looks like it's opening up, but that would be when this is broken. This would stay alive, right? If this breaks out of the rising wedge, then the downtrend channel becomes active. Then we short to the bottom, then try to long from the top. Now I definitely have a video about the how to trade a downtrend channel, so if you've seen it, then that would be right here. We're looking to do this. Oh, not that, sorry. Looking to do this. Then we would be shorting from here and longing from here. We're gonna try and tighten that range up where we would feel comfortable taking the longs from. So we identify an upper range and a lower range. This is where we would be shorting from. This is where we would be longing from if this downtrend channel comes true and the wedge is broken. So that's the conflict. So that's what we see right there on BAT. So this, again, this doesn't scream short me, but this is how we're looking at trying to play the short here. And then one more time, I didn't draw the fib on, what was the second one we looked at, BCH. Didn't draw a fib there, but we can just go ahead and draw the fib here. So I'll just try to capture that swing high and swing low here. So then we could see, yeah, if price comes above this here, then more than likely not going to be a pullback or a downtrend continuation. It's just going to be a pullback for the uptrend. So now this is the pullback. We're looking and trying to sense where the pullback is going to. It's already broken below 6.18, but finding support above it. So then if it breaks above this level here, then we can try to play this. And if it breaks above that, more than likely it's going to shoot to the top there. So placing an entry now does not seem optimal. I would like to wait and try to see if we can get that entry. And that's again based upon this market structure right here. If I didn't know that rising wedge was there, I would probably say we could set up something like that based on the fibs. But since I know we're in this rising wedge, if I take this away, remember, it looks possible that stop loss could be hit because of the rising wedge structure. So whenever we're placing our stop losses, we want to put it in a position that's very hard to be hit. We don't just want to be like, oh, you know what, I can lose 2%, I can lose 2.7%, that's fine. No, that's not fine. We want to put our stop losses in a place that's hard to hit. Even if we're okay with 2.7%, then we need to move this and try to get our entry as close to this as possible so that we can put this in a reasonable position, because where the stop loss is, price should be very hard to go there. Like, you don't want price to go to your stop loss. When you're setting up your stop loss target, it should be in a place that is very, very hard to hit, that you do not think the market is likely to hit. So you have to put it just beyond that range, because that is where it makes sense. And yes, you're probably going to lose a lot more money in that case, because sometimes it has to be deeper. So that's all part of risk management. That's why I said you have to understand how much you're willing to risk and how your own game is played. But yeah, you don't want to just be putting your stop losses anywhere. You got to have a reason to put your stop loss somewhere, because if you put it someplace it can easily be hit, you're just asking for money. You're just getting coffee and laying down in it. Okay, so HNT is looking really good still. I'm probably going to try and I'm going to watch HNT. HNT is probably going to be the one that I'm looking to trade, because it's got a really nice uptrend channel there. I mean, BAT's got a nice rising wedge. I could probably do something with both of those. BCH, I don't know. Like I said, that one's not really there. Remember, so now I'm just recapping at this point. BCH isn't really there. Remember, we have that bullish divergence we're looking to expire at this point, or at least play upwards into that point. And if we can get this if we can see a couple candlesticks close here with a lower high than this point, then we can try and look for a short there. Right here on HNT, we already need to keep our eyes peeled, because here's another market structure. I mean, if you have eyeballs, then maybe you can see this, even though I didn't draw it for you. But yeah, we're looking at this right here, and if this breakout, if that downtrend line gets respected here, we're seeing it trying to attempt to break out. So there's an immediate wedge right here. Probably need to pay attention to HNT if you want to get in on this. After the stream today, I'm going to be looking at HNT and BAT. These are ones we're going to be paying attention to. And for BAT, like I said, I want the entry to come up to be a little bit back over here. That way I can try and play some of these swing highs and be as close to the wedge line here as possible too. So that's what we're going to be looking to do, guys. So that's our presentation for today. And I wish I could have had, we'll run this again. I'll jump on some live stream with you guys whenever I actually am seeing to, because there are times where the market's just fucking crazy. You open up your trading view and you see everything's up. It's really having one of those pumpy days. It's up 20%, 40%, some things like that. So this isn't going to be the only time we'll run through this, guys. I'll try to get I'll get some recorded footage too and try and upload some videos on this. I got tons of content to create. Fuck, I just wish I had more arms and eyeballs to do it. So let me take a drink of water, guys. We'll see what y'all got for me in the comments. Any comments, questions about today's session, about today's lesson, guys, and I'll answer it for you. Let me just get a drink of water because I'm parched. Got through a whole bottle of water, fellas. All right, so what y'all got for me over here? We got some comments. Caesar says, I'll be, where are we at there? Noster. Okay, Boy Tamela says, got my learning cap on. Caesar says, I'll be watching you trade today. Caesar, I'm not going to try and take any live trades on the stream today. But if I do take one of these trades, I'll post it up in our chat room because I know you're in the Discord. So if I do take one of these trades, I'll let you know. I want to get a good entry. I'm not just going to try and yeet in on something for the video. This wasn't a planned trading session, but we will have planned trading sessions in the future as well, so make sure you tune into those so you can see me trade live and lose my lunch money. So let me see what we got here. Ananyan says, dip bag still accumulating with trading profits. Yep, that's right. If you're asking, then yes. If you're telling, then congratulations. That's a great fucking strategy, brother. So, some real gems with quality explanation. Great learning session. Nice. I'm glad you thought so, my man. Caesar says, there is this vertical line that shows the start of the day and the end of the day. Do you mind showing me how to find it? Right here? This one? Brother? I think you might be talking about this, Caesar. The day's range. You just got to click over on your watch list there, and whatever you're looking at is going to show those little details for you. Or you can also go to the trade screener. I think if you just open up... let me see. If I go to my profile, I can go to the trade screener, I think. Products, screeners, crypto. There you go. You can also do that. But I think you're just looking at seeing it right there. Then you just go ahead and see whatever asset you're looking at. That's where you get that bar. Caesar says, do you know how to trade using volume? Caesar, there's a couple ways to trade using volume. There's a couple different volume indicators. There's the volume profile indicator and there's a standard volume indicator. You might notice on my charts, I've taken it off. So, I mean, I still do have it favorited, but I don't really use it too much whenever I trade because it doesn't really, in my opinion, this volume indicator doesn't tell you too much. I've recently been introduced to and experimenting with the the fixed range volume profile indicator, where you grab from a selected time and it'll tell you where your point of control is. This is way more helpful than the regular volume indicator, but both of them have their uses and you can apply them in different scenarios. I personally don't like to trade with either of them. HNT coming down on 15-minute time frame. Yeah, let's go, buddy. Fucking son of a bitch, Noster. You getting in on it, buddy? Yeah, I'm watching for that outbreak. Maybe that looked about the right entry that I wanted there, but I don't want my stop loss to be so high. 0.5%'s not too bad. Yeah, let's keep an eye on it though, because like I said, I mean, we see this flag here. Technically, that could be a bullish pennant, so we need to be careful for this outbreak here. I want to try and get the best entry for it, but ultimately, if this is broken, now we need to be careful that there's not this move here, or even a big push down and come back up to that fake out. But once this is broken, that is Bloody Mary. All systems go in for there. And as soon as we get into a profit, we're going to need to adjust this stop loss because that's going to be hefty at that point. Once we break from here, yeah, that's going to end up being like 10%. So once we get into a profit, immediately, we're not going to try and ride this anymore. We're going to want to adjust this stop loss to above entry price. Evening Star. Boy Tamila says, I noticed my stop loss gets hit because it's too short. Now, Bortmello, that's a problem that I've experienced too. You need to be sure that whenever you are placing your stop loss and your trade too, you're considerate of how long your trade is going to last, because this trade right here, obviously we're looking at the 1 hour time frame. We're going to be carrying this for several hours trying to get this all the way back down to the bottom. This might even be a couple days worth of trading. See, this uptrend here took a few days. So this would be a short swing if we're being honest here. And if we're looking at the smaller time frame, I can get into the 1 minute really quickly just for an example. Just for an example for you, sir. Doesn't look like there's a lot of liquidity here. But even here, I can see that this is an uptrend line. That's not perfect. But we can see here it's starting to break. There's 1, 2, and there's a smaller one right here. So we'll play that. And then we have this downtrend line here. So even on the smaller scale, right? I'm just going to set this up really quick. So we can see here, if we jumped in at market price trying to catch this to the downside, some of these other levels here, then if we put our stop loss, right here, 0.5%, it seems all good and dandy, but we have this level right here because price was just there a few minutes ago. So we have to be considerate of where the time frame we're trading. That was half an hour ago. So in the next half an hour, price could come up, right? And if it does continue this uptrend, then we don't want to be involved. So a good... in every scenario is going to be different based upon the market structure, literally. But we want to look for a break in market structure. So the break in market structure, we put our stop loss right here, because if price comes above here, then it's likely the price is going to break out. So that would be where our stop loss would be based on market structure break. But here we have, based on your market structure and your trend lines. Then we actually have the swing high and low. Swing high and lows are great places to put your stop loss, because if price breaks it, it will create a new swing high or low, and you can be more confident that price is traveling in a different direction. You shouldn't be involved in that position. So here would be a really good place to put that stop loss, but you need to make sure whenever you're placing your stop loss that your take profit target is worth the risk. If we're risking 2% here, we need to be at least risking 2% on the gain. And if that's not possible, in this case, it's just before that swing low or that low point. We even have a low point there. So this kind of makes sense, at least 1-to-1. But if this isn't possible, if this 1-to-1 would make market structure be in here, then we'd have to extend beyond that market structure, which is unlikely. So we're not putting ourselves in a position to be profitable already if we're giving ourselves an unrealistic take profit target or an unrealistic stop loss goal. And we also need to consider, as soon as we get into profits, it's never a bad idea to just be like, hey, you know what? I made my profits, even if it's 0.5%, 0.2%. When it comes over your entry, you need to remove your stop loss and put it above entry, even if it's just above entry price, so you can cover the trading fees it costs to enter that trade. And that way you're only losing time. You can recalculate on the position. There's no reason to, once it moves into a profit, let it run into the red for any reason. If it runs into the red and you believe it's going to play out in your favor, then you would close that position for profits and re-enter on your short. Fine, you got a better entry. So that's the logic behind that there. And here you see, we did this even on the 1 minute time frame. And then if we look at that trade now on we set this up on the hourly. How realistic does it look on the 1 minute time frame? We can see our structure again, yada yada yada. So now whatever targets we're trying to play, if we're trying to play a larger target, that'd be a good stop loss for this range. But we have to understand, back here we have a larger range, and this tight little scalp, we're not going to set a fucking 6% stop loss for a scalp. That's just not going to happen. We're not playing that, But for a swing, that might be what we need to do. So it depends on what time frame we're looking at and how we're setting up our trade. But normally when you find something pumping, you zoom down and you see what time frame you want to make use of. To me, it looks like, the 1H here. The entry is the hardest part. Once you get into a profitable position, you'll be able to ride that bad boy down and watch your profits stack up. Waiting for candle close. I'm in on HNT. Oh, man, congratulations, brother. That was a solid entry. Wish I would have got that entry. That was a fucking solid entry. I hope it doesn't pump back up, though, because I would be wanting to get out of it. So far, it's a profitable entry. But yeah, HNT is definitely one we're going to watch. If you see me posting a trade about this, maintain smooth view, open widget. Not really sure what happened. But yeah, if you see me post a trade on one of these in the near future, You know where the TA came from. Let me close out of that. Yeah, so we're looking at these two. It's gonna be fine. We'll see, guys. So we got something to keep up with over the next few days. Guys, I don't have a stream scheduled for next week, but I will schedule one very, very soon over the weekend. I'm gonna be kicking it with my girl. It looks like there's our dump. She might be dumping right now. I'm gonna be kicking it. Oh, let me come up to the middle, guys. Yeah, oh, let me, by the way. Okay, ta-da! That's gonna be our presentation for today, guys. So I hope you learned something. If you joined late, back that shit up. Watch this shit because it's really good. And you get some really, really valuable insight on how to short coins. I do it all the time. Literally, one of the biggest ways that I make money. I'm a full-time trader. I'm gonna make a video pretty soon about how I survive on crypto, how I've been cashing out crypto and literally converting crypto into fiat. Like my fiat intake is next to none. So I'll show you how I convert crypto to fiat to live on it. And I live on trading. So shorting coins that, I mean, again, I highly recommend you have a watch list and that you go through that watch list religiously every single day and try to keep up with new trends. That way you can be familiar and comfortable trading an asset that you've seen every day. You know like the back of your hand. You're very familiar with it. It makes it easier to take risks in a situation where you're comfortable, right? It's like trying to land, let me just put it for another perspective, like trying to land a business deal. If you go eat out at your favorite restaurant, you know it's your favorite restaurant, you feel very comfortable there, you're talking to a new client, you're probably going to land that client because you're so comfortable. If you go out to some new fancy restaurant you've never seen before, a building you've never been in, and you try to land a new client you never talked to, it's just a little bit of an unfamiliar environment, and for some it could be upsetting, a little bit harder to trade that way. So I would highly recommend you have a watch list, but shorting pumped coins is so profitable, man. You have much more insight as to when a coin is going to short versus when a coin is going to pump, or I mean a coin is going to dump versus when it's going to pump. So there's a lot of people like science talking about it, like, you know, people don't talk about a coin before it pumps. They don't, because they don't fucking know about it. They talk about a coin when it's pumping. So I'm sure you're in more than one community chat, more than one group chat, whatever the hell you're in. You know, my Discord's cool, the Crypto University Discord's cool, but I'm sure you're in other chats. When a group of people start talking about a coin, they come into your server or they're in your chat. Everyone's asking questions about a coin. You know, STEPN. Everyone's asking questions about something, and people are asking about a certain altcoin. It's about time to short that altcoin. That altcoin's gonna have a huge fucking blowout soon, and you can make some profits on it. So, you know, when people are talking about a coin a lot, look into it, do a little bit of research, do the TA, chart the market structure, and you know, open up the CoinGecko chart. And this is not something that you want to do every day. Like I said, you don't just want to open up your chart and say, "What am I going to short today?" There are definitely optimal times in the market, excuse me, where you're gonna want to short. All of these examples today that we found, HNT, the market structure is there. It's pretty good. It's not perfect. It's not bad. BCH, not terrible, not perfect. BAT, not terrible, not perfect. There are some scenarios where you just look. Let me pull up really quickly. We'll go look at GMT, because that was fucking hilarious. When you are looking at something that does this. Yeah, when you're looking at something that does this, see, I was charting the shit out of this. Look how much fun this was. Look at this. See that market structure? Boom. So here we have that flag break, and we have this downtrend line, and we're just fucking following that all the way down. We broke out right here. Then we had this other uptrend line we broke out there. So I'm like, all right, 1, 2. Here's our next floor. Boom. We just shorted all the way through that. All this hype, it's going. And we had to watch this for a while, right? We watched this for 32 days, a month. I'm like, all right, you know, when's it going to break that trend line? When's it breaking these trend lines? If it didn't break below here, I'm like, okay, it's going up, new high. And then there's kind of that dynamic divergence I was telling you about. Here we have divergence. Oh, that's actually not divergence. Cool. So that's not dynamic divergence. But anyway, here's the big divergence signal. So this is easy money. This is what I'm telling you about. This was an easy money shot right here. When you open this up, if we were looking at GMT for the month, 30 days, biggest gainer. Look at this damn thing, 400% for 30 days. Yeah, that's sustainable. So I mean, that's easy money. You just want to pay attention to it. You see it's up 100%. It's not sustainable. This is a grand opportunity. HNT, BCH, BT, everything we looked at, that's cool. That's exactly how you want to chart it. That's exactly the process that we're doing. But here we see an opportunity, an amazing opportunity. And these opportunities don't come up all the time, you know, but they do fucking come up. And this is how you're going to take advantage of them. So as soon as you see that market structure break, you know, you throw it in here. And we had a pretty high stop loss on this, you know, not going to lie, it's 21%. But I was playing this market structure here. I was like, fuck it. If it breaks over that high, it's probably just going to keep pumping. So I was trying to find the GMT entry there. And I didn't write it down as long as I would like to. It still could be profitable short. Still could be a profitable short. But that is what you're going to want to be looking for. Let me just back this up right here just for a second. And remove all of this. So that is what you're going to be looking for. That type of structure. That divergence. That is a key indicator right there. If you do not have divergence, I mean, you can still go in for the trade, but your risk is far greater. If you see divergence like that, like this is a clear divergence. See, higher high in candlesticks, price action, lower high in RSI. That all day is a short entry, short, enter short. As soon as you see that divergence, you're going to want to try and enter short. And there is no swing high. Look at this. There's no swing high over here. There's no previous price action history. There's no previous price action history. So that's a very tight stop loss. We're just playing this. As soon as we see that divergence, we're playing that right there. So, I mean, that was a golden opportunity. They're not available every day. They're not available every month. They're not available all the time. But they are out there. You need to find them. You need to pay attention to them because they are out there. So that's what we're gonna be. That's what we're looking for. So I'm all out of water, guys. My throat's parched. I'll go through the comments one more time. Oh shit, HNT dropping already. No, it hasn't broke that structure yet. Getting me all excited, but yeah, it's still profitable from the entry we plotted out. So far, so good. Let me see what else we got on here. Noster, TP1 hit. Way to go, Noster. That's what I'm fucking talking about. Yes, hi again, bro. What's up, brother? Hey, man. How you doing? Hope you're doing all right. I see you've been a member now for over 1 month. Check out Niaz's badass tag, guys. It's got that green Deadly Crypto logo. That shit looks dope. Thanks, Niaz, for being a member, bro. That means a lot to me. Niaz is one of our supporters. Might be the only supporter in the stream, but it's all good. All of you guys that are here, I consider y'all supporters. You watch this much of my content, you're learning from it. I hope it brings you value. Noster, I hope you're enjoying those profits on HNT. I'm probably going to go jump in on that immediately. I'm going to get that FOMO. Nah, we'll see. We'll see. I'll keep my eyes closed, peeled on it, and I'll share in Discord if I do take a trade on it. So thanks. Oh, man, Niaz, sorry to join late, sir. Niaz, I'm just about to head out, bro. I'm sorry, man. Don't. Sorry, Niaz. Oh, man. I want to stay here a little bit longer for you, but I already ran out of presentation. I'm sure you're going to rewind it and check it out, Niaz. It was a good lesson. To anyone who's joining in late, who might be joining in late, or who missed the live stream, it was a good lesson. Thank you guys for coming. Niaz, if you need some help, of course, holla at me in the Discord. And anyone else, guys, if you're not in the Discord, I think it's in the video. You know where to find it. And again, I will post another event. I'm going to be having them every Friday. There's not one scheduled yet, but I'll get it scheduled over this weekend. So thanks for tuning in, guys. And I'll see you at the next one. Fuck, I hope Markiplier doesn't sue me. Don't sue me, Markiplier. I can't afford it. Bye, everyone.